Indigenous students face countless hardships in their education. There are laws to protect their rights to education. However, despite being protected by the law, indigenous students suffer from poverty and numerous human rights violations. This is Helena, a grade 11 student who wants to know more about the learning conditions of these indigenous students. Through various connections, Helena was able to find a catalyst for her research: Los Amigos National High School. Los Amigos National High School is a mixed school catered towards the educational needs for both indigenous and non-indigenous students.
So, unsa kanina na drive mo din? I'm bagobok hatak or bagobok. So, taga diri ka sa Tubok din sa Los Amigos.
Opo.
Yes po. So, okay. Kamusta man ang pag-eskwela?
Sa karon is medyo okay pa siya. Siyempre, first quarter pa man, di pa kayo ka ng problema doon na magdasok-dasok ang mga activities.
Unya, unsa man ang mga bagay na mahimong kalisod sa imong pag-eskwela?
Ang parang problema na ako is, dili ko kabalo sa pag-handle sa time management. Kay kanang naisahay nga matapulan ko sa mga activities, like dara ako buhat it ka ng deadline na.
So, malipayon ba ka sa serbisyo o facilities na ginahatag sa gobyerno sa imong pag-eskwela?
Oo, happy ko, pero as of now is as an IP, kay sa IPs kay wala pa hinahatag sa mga karon nga, like di ba every man na sila ginahatag every na kwarta, but as of now is wala pa sila na hatag, but still okay gihapon kay nasa term po na sila.
Students like Marie are treated differently because some people in society see indigenous people as an anomaly, because they usually live in rural areas and they suffer higher rates of poverty, homelessness, and malnutrition.
Bilang isa ka indigenous student, unsa ang mga bagay para nimo maka-help sa imong makaperhas nimo na indigenous?
Ay ang maka-help sa amo nga as an is ang mga pag-sustento, tapos pag-treat sa like lamang may uban nga pag indigenous people ka is dili ka nila gina-treat as like a normal people, murag lahi ang gina-treat nila sa inyo.
But there is hope, because despite all of the challenges and hardships Marie has to face as an indigenous learner, she uses her predicament to serve as a representation of who indigenous people are, excelling not only in the fields of education, but of other expertise as well.
To start po, introduce your name, subject, and grade level.
I am Millicent Bigan. I am currently teaching at Los Amigos National High School. I am teaching mathematics grade 11 students.
So for the first question po, how does it feel to see the learning conditions of these indigenous students?
Okay, so in our school, we strive to provide inclusive quality education to all learners, regardless of their religion, their economic status, their gender, and even to their even their different cultures and tribes. So we have learners here who belong to the different tribes, such as the Bagoboklata, Manobo, Maranaos, and other tribes. While most students can speak Visaya and Tagalog, other students still use their native language, which is quite challenging to us because we need to use words and gestures that will help them understand what we are trying to teach or what we are trying to tell them.
And for the second question po, what are your unique learning methods for an effective education for indigenous students?
Okay, so I am currently teaching mathematics, so it is very hard to teach mathematics, especially for those who are from different tribes and cultures. But On some topics, we used some indigenized materials that are known to them. So, for example, we use bamboo materials, and for counting, and for like that, so that they can relate to what we are teaching. But we also introduced them to the new technologies, such as the use of ICT or integration of ICT to our classes, so that we can also relate to the bigger world.
And for the last question po, given your knowledge as an educator, what can you say about the learning condition of the indigenous learners?
I can say that they are already coping up with our current educational system, and that they are at same level with our regular students. They are coping up, but at the same time preserving their culture.
Due to the diverse culture of indigenous people, naturally, they typically speak a different language from us. Therefore, the teacher and students sometimes experience language barriers that could hinder their learning experience. However, because of persevering teachers like Ma'am Millicent, they're able to overcome that barrier.
Total, yung mga bridge sisirain man nila. Yung mga eskwela, susunugin nila. Yung mga eskwelahan lang ng mga lumad, yung kanila, they're operating without the Department of Education's permit. Kasi eskwelahan nila, but they are teaching subversion, communism, lahat na. So, umalis kayo dyan. Sabihin ko dyan sa mga lumad ngayon, umalis kayo dyan. Bubumbahan ko yan.
Of Lumad communities up to Metro Manila, Balikbayan, in order to register their voices in the consciousness of the general Filipino audience.
ADDUvocacy is a Lumad indigenous school located in Surigao del Sur, Philippines. It provides alternative education to the indigenous youth of the different tribes in Caraga region.
Nag-abot-abot ang mga paramilitaryo. Diyan sakot ang alkatig ikuha ang tanang mga cellphone sa estudyante o mga teacher niya para palakat na sir imus ikuha o niya. Si sir imus inireto sa marga ang sa alkatig. Ila ng stage dito na ipagawas ang mga teacher o mga estudyante.
Although martial law in Mindanao ended in 2019, Boak said that the recent passing of the anti-terror law has emboldened military forces to camp in Lumad communities. In 2019 alone, 55 Lumad schools in the Davao region were shut down by the Department of Education. These schools had long been the targets of a military vilification campaign that claimed they were being used as training centers for New People's Army communist rebels. Rius Valle of the Save Our Schools network attributed this rise in attacks to Duterte's threat to bomb Lumad schools, allegedly teaching subversion and communism last July 2017. Although 5 years have passed since that remark was made, Lumad schools continue to face threats to their safety. Even though one may belong to an indigenous tribe, that person has the right to live a normal life without prejudice and discrimination. They should be able to exercise their rights to education that are supposedly protected by the law. Indigenous people aren't very different from the rest of us. They have rich and ancient cultures and view their social, economic, environmental, and spiritual systems as interdependent. They make valuable contributions to the world's heritage thanks to their traditional knowledge and their understanding of ecosystem management. They contribute to our society as much as non-indigenous people, and they probably do even more. And that's why their education is important for them to pass on their knowledge, cultures, and traditions and learn about their rights for them to be able to play their role in society.